How you doing, mate? So are you ready
Та бүхэн бэлэн
for
байна уу? Дөрөв.
the best lecture of your life? This is gonna
Таны
be
амьдралдаа хамгийн гайхалтай
really intense. Okay, you are obviously here because you want to be spiritual leaders. I know you woke up this morning and you thought, how can I too become a great spiritual leader? So, welcome to Professor Dunkley's The Way of a Spiritual Leader's Master Class. Okay, let me just turn off the music. All right, let's get serious, guys. Because by the end of this lecture, you will be able to achieve this. You too will be able to achieve this. In fact, this is a picture of me just before I joined the church. Can you believe that? Yeah. Actually, I pretty much already achieved spiritual mastery before even I joined the church. So I really want to share with you my wisdom so that you too can become like this. Are you in? I want to see that chat box active. It's my favorite part of this whole experience is looking at your funny comments. Okay, yeah. All right. So I'm now going to give you the simple steps. You know, I like to make things simple. I don't like to make things complicated. So I've boiled it all down to one slide, just a few simple steps so that you too can achieve spiritual mastery by the end of this lecture. Are you ready? Just follow these simple steps. Okay, now, because there's a little bit of content on there, you probably want to take a screenshot or a photograph. You know, I put a lot of work into this. There are actually 1,353 simple practices to master your spirituality. Yes, and estimated time needed approximately 93 years. Give or take 6,000. All right. So, point is, there's a lot to this. Okay, so take a screenshot and you will be fine. Actually, you know, thanks to true parents, they boiled it down for us. There are actually two ways to unite our mind and body. If I can achieve mind-body unity, Kevin says I got disqualified. Okay, if I can achieve mind-body unity, surely I can achieve spiritual mastery. If I can achieve total unity between myself and my wife and my family, surely I will be able to attain spiritual mastery. If I can know how to have loving dominion over all things in the universe, surely I will attain spiritual mastery. So as simple as that, starting with my mind and body. Father said there are two ways to unite the mind and body. One is to strengthen the body, the other is to strengthen the mind. That is actually the purpose of a religious life. I know many of you wonder, why on earth is it necessary? Do I need to do this? I'm a blessed child, or we've already done a lot of work. Do we still need to pay indemnity and live such a tough life? Well, that's what I want to address in this presentation, Ken. And I've done a lot of research. I have done a whole bunch of research so that you don't have to. All you have to do is pay attention for the next few minutes, and I've got you covered. I found out how to unite the mind and body at the same time. That's right. This gentleman has mastered it. Not only is he subduing his body, he is strengthening his mind. Don't worry. He's still alive, but I'm sure his head hurts. I can't do that. So I'm afraid that's also not serious slide. Mr. Ice understands. This is, I'm sure, one way to subdue your body and strengthen your mind if you can meditate during that position. But seriously, I don't think that's something my wife would allow me to do. Right, honey? Right. So she's not going to let me do that. So what are some ways you can subdue the body's desires? I want to go straight into it right now. So come on, close your eyes a second. Just stop being distracted by me. Close your eyes just for a moment and think of it. What are some ways that you have found to keep your body in check, to subdue those urgent desires for the sake of something greater, so that you may follow your mind's direction? Even just one thing that you have learned in your life that works. Andrew says, sleep. Okay, let me rephrase the question. What are some ways you can subdue your body's desires while staying awake? Because I think sleep is one of the body desires. And you can chat. I love Andrew's, confidence. But you can put something in the chat box if you're bold. Okay, running, good one. Will Smith says run and keep on running. Because when you run, you learn to overcome incredible obstacles that in other aspects of your life, you will be able to transfer what you learned through breaking those barriers. Okay, so now we have other things like praying, meditating. Things like prayer and meditation actually serve to strengthen the mind. And that's the next question. What are some ways that you can strengthen your mind? Okay, we've got hundoke, we've got cold showers. Cold showers don't work if you live in Africa. I don't even think they really work if you live in Indochina in the summer, at least. It's so hot here. I don't know, Australia too, right, Ken? I mean, you've probably done some cold shower conditions and wondered, wait, is this so bad? You know, if it's really hot outside, you're like, oh, this isn't such a bad. Do it in London in the dead of winter. That's a condition. What are some ways that you can subdue your body and strengthen your mind? This is, I'm just asking you to consider, because Father is guiding us that way. But I want to go a little deeper. Are you with me? It wasn't supposed to be that hard. It's not supposed to be this hard. It's not supposed to be so hard to be happy. It's not supposed to be so hard to be a good dad or a good wife, a good husband, a good child. Right? Originally, it was not supposed to be so hard. That's why many of us in our original mind kind of wonder sometimes, why do I have to stand upside down on my bald head on a nail? I know some of you wondering that. So actually, when we consider the beginning, let's just really quickly take it all the way back to the beginning. Adam and Eve, they were blessed with 3 great blessings, right? To become a heavenly individual, to create a heavenly family, and to become heavenly stewards. We knew this thousands of years ago. And I want to ask you, when you look at this slide, maybe you think it all happens one at the time, right? When you maybe, first I have to become completely perfect individual, then I'll learn how to talk to someone. Then I'm going to master the realm of loving relationships, and then I'll learn how to cut down a tree and build a chair. No, we have to learn all these things as we go, right, Ken? We have to learn all these things as we go. So actually, I believe Adam and Eve would have naturally been learning these things as they went. And frankly, they did a great job. They did an excellent job. Let us congratulate Adam and Eve for doing such a great job, at least until the age of maybe 15 or 16. They were doing good, maybe. Adam's naming the animals, probably learning how to run and fly and jump, and Eve's picking flowers. Maybe she's making necklaces out of beautiful flowers. They must have learned how to cook, you know, right? They weren't just sitting down on the ground for 16 years. They were learning. They were attending God. They were speaking to God. They could speak to the angelic world. Right, this is the reality. This was their blessing. They were able to attend God directly as their heavenly parent. This is amazing. And we know the story, how it goes, right? We know something went wrong, but this was their original course. That means it's somehow related to my original course, our original course. But they failed. They failed to attend God. They failed to attend God. And now, from that point on, humanity needed to restore its status to be able to attend God. The purpose of human life is not to live a religious life. It's the other way around. The purpose of a religious life is to be able to live a life again. If you're with me, speak to me, because all I see is a bunch of flags with lots of red, by the way. We seem to have a lot of red in our flags in Asia. Please speak to me through the chat box. Let me know your thoughts. Reverend Kamal is always a great supporter. He says, yes, I think Adam and Eve learned so many amazing, pure and great things before the fall. So that's right, brothers and sisters. But when they slipped, from that time, humanity entered into a new era. A new era, Tekuma. An era of restoration through indemnity. It was a long, cold, dark, and tough course. We just had to keep on going. Keep on trying. We're fighting. We're failing. Sometimes victory. Sometimes we made it even though it was tough. We tried hard and we went. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that. Don't worry. The era of restoration through indemnity. But what is that? What is indemnity? Father said when someone has lost his original position or state, he must make some condition to be restored to it. It's very simple. Look, if you punch your brother in the eye and he's crying, you know, no amount of excuses, no amount of protection from your parents, he's not going to really like you that much until you at least say sorry, buy him some candy, something, right? But that's just your brother if you punched him or stole his candy. What about like cutting the original relationship with the creator of the universe, the heavenly parent, the omnipresent, the one and only God? That's a pretty serious issue to restore. So indemnity is simply the matter of paying a price to recover what was lost. And that has been the course of religious history, through good deeds, through faith, and through indemnity, right? I know all you kids love indemnity, right? That's why from now on, in Asia Pacific 1, we will no longer wake up at 5:30 for PeaceNet. We're now going to wake up at 3:30 a.m. Are you with me? Asia Pacific 2, you are so happy you don't live over here right now. Woohoo! Aju, you guys are hot. I don't know if you're actually in the other region, maybe you're saying Aju. So, but guys, if you sometimes wondered, why does it gotta be so hard? Because it's your original mind kind of reminding you, don't worry, it's not actually supposed to be so hard. And the good news is we are in a new era. Let's give it up. Thanks to true parents, we are in a new era. Father said, now that the 40-year course of restoration through indemnity has been brought to an end, the time has come when the world can move centering on true parents. So, for our wise lecturers there, please can somebody educate the team as to what that means now that the 40-year course of restoration through indemnity has been brought to an end. What does that mean? What is the 40-year course that Father is talking about? Do you know what the 40-year course? You know, remember, true parents, 1960, marriage should have been televised like the Queen of England's marriage or like the Queen of England's coronation. It should have been televised to the world. There should have been at least 1 or 2 billion people watching in 1960, which would have been over 50% of the world population. 1.7 billion watched the Queen's coronation. I believe true parents, standing on the foundation of Christianity, would have achieved an even greater television audience. That should have been what happened way before you were born, most of you. So you wouldn't be wondering about how can I become a spiritual leader? How am I to explain to my friends at school that I'm not allowed to date? Or how am I supposed to explain to my friends that I'm a unificationist, kind of a cult member? Yeah, kind of weird. We went through a 40-year wilderness course to reclaim actually the 400 years of preparation centering on the 2,000-year foundation of Christianity. The last 400, I don't see anybody wrote it yet, so I got to explain everything. 400 years of preparation to receive the Messiah was lost. Ken, you know. So that's the meaning of 40 years. Unification Church. Thank you very much, true parents. Thank you to our first generation. Thank you to everybody who worked so hard and understands the wilderness so well. But in this age, you are justified by living in attendance to God. You attain salvation through attendance. Do you understand me? Previously, you were saved through paying indemnity. However, you must now enter the age when you attend heaven. Listen to me. 2,000 years ago, the people who were prepared to attend Jesus did not do so. Why? Because they were too busy trying to follow the almost 700 Hebraic laws. They were so busy trying to follow the laws that got them there, Ken, that they couldn't recognize Jesus. They were so fascinatedly focused and stubbornly focused on attending the word that was written in the book that they were not able to attend the word that was living. And so no matter how many years they practiced and studied and prayed and offered devotion and offered their sacrifices, 4,000 years they prepared. But still, in that actual moment when they had an opportunity to upgrade, they failed because they tried to apply the same metrics and the same practices that got them to the door to open the door and walk in. Very different. You know, in Asia, we take off our shoes when we go inside. Isn't that true? I don't know, Australia, maybe not. But that's the reality. So what is Father saying here is we are in a new era and we are not justified anymore by how much indemnity we pay or how much we suffer or how much sand we eat for breakfast. We are actually justified by our attendance. We are now able to enter heaven by attending. So let's look at that. For the first time in human history, Father says, we are entering into the new age, an age when humanity does not need religious salvation. Oh my God. This is amazing. By the way, those words are really scary for spiritual leaders because really famous spiritual leaders kind of make a lot of money and they have a big foundation by leading people spiritually, by having people depend on them to be the master of their spiritual life. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know if you really understand how sharp these words are to some people, but this is the reality. Father said the Family Federation is creating ideal families in order to complete the work of restoration, to establish God's ideal of creation, Hannah, and to build the heavenly ideal world. So let's give Father some feedback on these words. Come on. For the first time in human history, we are entering into a new age. Okay, are you with me? 6,000 years of restoration through indemnity. We are now in a new era. If we still act like we were in the old era, it won't work. If we try put gasoline into an electric car, it will not work. No matter how, even if you put jet fuel into a Tesla, it will not work. True. Aju? Am I going too fast for my interpreters? God bless you. Let's give a big round of applause to our interpreters. And let us give them a water break. Okay, I have to calm down. We're not at the end yet. We are in a new era. We are in an era of attendance. By the way, this is the south of Italy. It's the Amalfi Coast. It's where some of my ancestors come, and it's really beautiful. I recommend you go there. I'm not on commission, if you're wondering. I'm just recommending it. It's a really beautiful place. Because we always show pictures of Eden without the ocean. But I think there's probably a lot of ocean in Eden. So, picture your most beautiful place. What does the original world look like for you? And what on earth is attendance? Because I can lecture you all day about attendance, but you've probably heard a bunch of lectures about attendance. I'm going to give you an angle on attendance that, in my opinion, should blow your mind. So are you ready to be mind blown? Are you ready, people? Fix your hair. Because if you fall unconscious after this presentation, you don't want to look bad lying on the floor. So fix yourself. Okay, get ready. What is attendance? For Adam and Eve, let's look back to Adam and Eve. You've got to go back to the origin point. We don't need to look at the attendance from the viewpoint of religious history or from what we were doing in the wilderness, how well we polish our leather sandals. Let's go all the way back to Adam and Eve to reflect on what would the original attendance have looked like. I tell you, it would have looked like this. It would have looked like becoming heavenly individuals. It would have looked like becoming a heavenly family. It would have looked like having heavenly loving stewardship over the environment. Do you agree? I believe for Adam and Eve, it would not have been necessary for them to do a 40-day fast on top of a mountain, upside down on their head, on top of a nail. Right? Think about it. They were attending God already. They had a relationship with God in the angelic world. They could have asked any question, anytime. Father said that we would have achieved technological advancement within 700 years. I mean, and that's like 700 biblical years. The world was spinning faster back then, slightly. So that's what attendance would have looked like. But unlike Adam and Eve, we now live in a fallen world. So we have a little bit of a dichotomy here. We have an issue. We say we're blessed. We say we pray in our own name. We're blessed families connected to the original lineage. Oh, you're blessed children. Oh, amazing. You've removed your original sin. Shouldn't everything be easy? Somebody unmuted themselves. But unlike Adam and Eve, we live in a fallen world. Look, guys, it's chaotic out there. There's a lot of stuff going on, and even our great world leaders kind of don't really know what to do. So, Mother said, humanity cannot solve the challenges we face today without our Heavenly Parent. The time has come for all 7.8 billion people of the world to know that we are one family as children of our Heavenly Parent. We are one family. This is the words of a parent saying, we live in the era of attendance. We're supposed to be living like a family. Not like this. As a family. Does everybody agree? Do you like that when you look like you're kind of smiling with an adoring face? We are one family. able to attend our heavenly parent. This is incredible. This should really be the only slide anybody needs and end all lectures. It's done. Let's just go about our way now.
Энэ лекцийн дараа энэ слайд ингээл дуусчихын те бид нэр анхдагч тэр
The issue is the three blessings are not enough to get through this.
ажил өгсөн байгаа.
We've been given a fourth blessing.
Бидэнд дөрвөн ажил өгсөн байгаа.
And this is a blessing that even God could not give you.
Бурхан танд
This is a blessing that only the returning son and daughter who fulfilled the three great blessings could give you. And it is chombo.
Чарын ганцхан охин л энэ ажлыг танд өгч чадах юм а. Энэ бол чомбо.
If you're wondering what that spells, it's chombo. I don't like to do things in halves. I like things to look cool. So everybody thinks chombo is weird. No, for me, I want that on my jacket.
Энэ болохоор би өөрөө хувцсан дээр энэ чомбо гэсэн эмблемийг хийхийг хүсэж байгаа.
If you substantially build a family that is aligned with the word and with the heavenly world, then centering on your family, you can freely expand your foundation. Amazing. It is from our families that our tribes can emerge. And centering on our tribes, we can create our nation. And from that point, God's world will emerge naturally. This is the expansion that will take place starting from blessed families. So, true parents are describing the reality that we have been given the authority and the blessing and the power to not only live in our family as if we are living before the fall, but we also live in the world that's still suffering from the effects of the fall. So from the inside out, from the blessed family going outward, centering on heavenly parent and true parents, we can actually like explode true love atom bombs of new ground for God to work, for God to reclaim his children. This is our job. Now, I know probably most young people in second gen, it's like you're already asleep at this point in the lecture. If you're young, it's like, what has that got to do with me? So I want to boil it down in simple terms because I promised I would make it simple. What does attendance look like now? We have to fulfill the four great blessings. Okay? The four great blessings. So we have, heavenly individual. I'm sorry, nobody gets to, nobody gets out of that one. These were called the three great blessings, but you could also call them the three great responsibilities. If we fulfill this responsibility, Ayaka, we will be happy. Yeah. You want to become a heavenly individual. Raise your hands if you want to become a heavenly individual. Shout it out in the chat box if you want to. Enter your name in the log. Okay, a lot of hands going up. Me, yes. You want to become a heavenly individual, right? Well, like I said, all you need about a 6-inch nail. Make sure it's about 0.5 centimeter in diameter. Otherwise, it will go through your head. And practice. It might take 40 years, but... Okay. You want to become... you take it back. You want to become a heavenly individual, but you don't want to kill yourself for the rest of your life to do so, right? So actually, even though we're blessed, even though blessed children, still we have to practice the art of, keeping our body in check, subduing negative thoughts and negative desires. We still have those responsibilities, but what I'm telling you is that now we can do this in a new way. Am I shouting too much, Annabelle? My wife says I'm shouting too much. Just tell me if you want me to calm down. If you want me to go super reserved and English style, I can do that. I try land somewhere between like Italy and America and England. So a little bit of sophistication, a little bit of flavor, but some positive optimism. So you understand my point, Suti? You want to become a heavenly individual. So it's not if your regional President Hori or President Dunkley tells you you must become a heavenly individual for the sake of true parents, you're not going to argue, right? You want to become a heavenly individual. You want to become a heavenly family, right? Reverend Krishna said, for him, I'm not shouting at all, but that's because compared to Reverend Krishna, I'm not shouting. You should listen to Reverend Krishna's enthusiasm. It's off the charts.
Krishnaгийн
If I tell you that you should become a heavenly steward, you know, build a beautiful home with a beautiful garden, buy a Tesla or any car of your flavor, and you know, love people and build a beautiful village full of happy people and become, you know, famous for something that you love doing, you're not going to argue with that, right?
ийм бүхнийг байгуулах хэрэгтэй гэх юм бол та нар гинж маргахгүй тийм үү?
Shinshin's getting really inspired. He's like, wait, is this the church I joined? Yes, it is.
Энэ миний явж байгаа сүм мөн үү гэд гаарч байгаа юм тийм үү? Тийм ээ энэ үнэн.
But if I tell you you've also got to be doing chombo, then you're like, well, yeah, isn't that just what my parents got to do?
Чомбо хийх хэрэгтэйг бол магадгүй чомбо чинь манай аав жил хийх хэрэгтэй зүйл биш.
You too must participate in all four great blessings, just simply because that is the era that we are in. That is the foundation for a heavenly world, heavenly nation, heavenly world. So each one is connected, and this is attendance in a new era. So in a nutshell, I asked you, what does attendance look like today? It looks like this. Well, but that's just a graphic, you know, abstract chart. So I want to walk through it a little bit with you in our second session. And first of all, I want to make a confession. This is not actually a picture of me before I joined the church. And in a sense, I'm not really a spiritual leader. And I kind of don't really know why our precious youth leaders expected me to be the one that would be able to give the one and only and, you know, lecture that ends all lectures about how to become a spiritual leader. And frankly, I don't even know how many of you woke up this morning praying to God, please show me how I can be a great spiritual leader. Maybe one of you. Probably many of you are just wondering how on earth you can survive the next year. You know? In reality, in a sense, I'm not really a spiritual leader. I confess to you. I'm just a guy with a bunch of ancestors. Many of them must have done great things for me to be able to meet true parents in my lifetime and to understand and be able to work with true parents. I'm sure some of them must have done something good, but I know that many of them did not. It's a mixed bag. I come from this. Oh, by the way, Ken, this is just like 1/16 or 32th of the chart that I've got on ancestry.com. But, you know, this is where I come from, but without true parents, where do I go? Thanks to true parents, I was able to receive the blessing and I was able to restore my ancestors. This is incredible. We have to take a quick pause for the sake of our interpreters and for the sake of honoring Heavenly Parent and true parents with a big round of applause. Amazing. Amazing. And so true parents have raised families all over the world. So in a sense, I'm not really a spiritual leader. I'm just a guy who was saved thanks to true parents on the foundation of 6,000 biblical years of a whole lot of suffering and a whole lot of wilderness and a whole lot of restoration through indemnity. Thank you all for the last 6,000 years. And not just that, thank you to my wife and my children for being patient with me. Because even though I have two parents, I have the blessing, I have the principle, doesn't like happen like that. It's a lot of work. But this is what I am. I don't really want to be thought of as a spiritual leader. I'd rather be thought of as a son of true parents, as a husband to my wife, as a father to my children, and hopefully one day a grandfather, Hannah, Jonathan, a grandfather to my grandchildren. This is what I am. This is what I want. This is what I need to be. So guys, if you're wondering what is the 1,353 step course to achieve spiritual mastery, it is to attend Heavenly Parent and True Parents. And if you ask, how should I attend Heavenly Parent and True Parents? If you want to climb the mountain and go pray, do it. But not if you're ignoring your family. I tell you, Angeline, more powerful than fasting for 40 days in this era, more powerful than wandering for 40 years with broken leather sandals and a broken cotton jockstrap, more powerful than that will be you loving your father no matter who he is, loving your mother no matter where she comes from, loving your brother and sister, loving, preparing for your spouse, loving your children. That is not easy, I tell you, and I will stand up in front of the greatest religious leaders in the world and tell them directly, bring me any Guruji, Reverend Krishna, bring me any great megachurch pastor, even more powerful than the most insane religious practices that we learned over the last 6,000 years. Even more difficult is to learn how to love my family as a true man. So if you want to know what is our religion and what is our religious practice and what is religion in the new era, when Father says the era of religion, salvation through religion has passed. So what era of religion are we in, if you can even call it religion? It is this religion. It is learning how to be a good son, a good daughter, a good husband, a good wife, a good sibling, a good parent. Are you with me? Does that sound tough? So, you wonder why I got to do this and I got to do that and I can't do this and I can't do that. It's not really a rule book. It's not, the tradition in our church is not really a rule book. It's, for me, this is my dream map, right? And so for me, anything that disturbs this is probably something I shouldn't do, and anything that helps this is probably something I should do. And this is my attendance. Are you with me? Do you understand? This is reality. We are to become Chombo families who can attend one another and expand the foundation through Chombo. So, Hannah and Jonathan may wonder, what on earth do they have to do with Chombo? Well, Timothy too. Timothy right now is in America learning how to make money because he wants to send money to Asia to help us. That's, in one sense, his contribution to his family's Chombo. Not just that, he kept his purity. God bless him. I know it's not easy. Some struggle with that, and then they have to find a way to restore their heart with God around that. But every one of us is coming to this ultimate reality. My two youngest children, Hannah and Jonathan, unbeknownst to them, got dragged to the other side of the world. They left their middle school friends, their high school friends, their favorite foods and what they were used to and their favorite sports. And now they're learning how to eat Thai food, and they're learning how to say sawadee kap and sawadee ka. And they're learning how to, go to a 4-day international youth workshop in Thai. This is also their offering, to keep your purity, to prepare for your blessing, to get matched, to get blessed. That is your contribution. To make children, that is your contribution. Some of you are helping your parents how to use a computer. Oh, Mom, Dad, this is how Zoom works, so that you can speak with your relatives overseas. Oh, Mom, Dad, this is a handy little tool. It's called a smartphone, and with it, you can actually send messages to your tribe. There's many ways that you can do it, and you can go to the blessing festivals with your parents. You can go and educate your tribe with your parents. What does that look like? What does education look like? It's not attending, just a 21-day workshop, which is good. It's also eating together, singing together, becoming one together. It's not just walking through the wilderness course, understanding and learning how to eat sand and listening to great testimonies of our precious pioneers who learned how to survive on sand on toast for 3 years. Things that are amazing, but our children cannot relate to anymore. We have to start to understand that the new world is to help my family become heavenly character, help my family become heavenly relationship, help my family become rich and wealthy and prosperous, help my family become Chombo family. Yeah, this is our blessing. And this is how we attend from now. So we're coming to the end of the first presentation, right? How many seconds do I have left?
дахиад хэдэн минут үлдсэн бэ?
This is my attendance now to become a chombo
Одоогийн
family.
чамбо гэрүүл
Right?
арлаг гэдэг бол энэ юм аа.
So, I want you to think about these points. You're going to have a short break, right? You're going to have a short break. I want you to think about these points. Let me boil it down in simple terms. I'll remove the jokes and remove all of the supporting material. It's as simple as this. You were born at the time of true parents. It wasn't supposed to take 6,000 years. It wasn't supposed to take 4,000 years. It wasn't supposed to take any of this. But we chose the long, kind of creative, suffering course to get to this point. But the point that we are at now is we have the opportunity to go back. True Parents declared Foundation Day. We are already Chonilguk citizens. We are already living in the era of Chonilguk, the era after the coming of heaven. It's like we are living in the time before the fall with no relationship to the fall. And yet still we live in the reality of the world that is still in hospital because of the fall. So we have to become heavenly nurses. And it's true, many of us have, scratched our arms or broken our legs or, burnt our face from too much sun because we're still kind of wilderness course, wannabes. But we must understand our divine dignity and responsibility and blessing, no matter who you are, what you've done, where you come from. This is the era that we live in. And our happiness and our joy and God's happiness and joy and True Parents' happiness and joy comes from us attending, building happy families. Are you with me on that? So in the next session, I'm just going to walk through some very real practical questions to see what we can do to do that practically, because I know young people love practical things, not just theory. Okay? So I'm going to yield the mic and hope that you got at least something out of the first session. If you can understand what we're talking about here, you can literally avoid going through the 1,533 or whatever it was steps. This is the quick course, brothers and sisters. So with that, I yield. Thank you for watching. Adieu.
Thank you very much, President Mindan.
Please, so please give a big hand to our dear leader. Amazing story, like a movie. Thank you so much. Yes, but the next.
Yeah, okay. So like President Duffy mentioned, let's take a break. Let's get refreshed. Please go stretch yourselves, grab a cup of tea, water, coffee, anything you need. And yeah, let's get excited and wait for the next session with us. I'll see you.
We just concluded about the fact that being a Chombo family is the way to attend our true parents and heavenly parent, and therefore through that we can achieve all things. And so I want to walk through that together with you. So yes, again, please prepare notepad and pen or cell phone, some way to write and keep track of some notes. I'm going to invite you to reflect on some stuff, real simple. I think you'll enjoy it. Are you ready? In order to take the next step, wherever you are in your journey, I just want to help you take the next step towards becoming an even better Chombo family. Are you with me? So, because of that, I am free of charge. I am going to walk you through a little snippet, little exercise. One of the things that we do over here in AP1 for the Chombo Challenge. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the first ever international, interregional
Олон
Chumbo
улсын
Challenge. Okay.
Чамбо
simple.
сорилтанд
All
тавтан
right,
марлно.
so what are we going to do? First,
Бид
a
нар юу
quick note from our
хийх вэ?
sponsors. Our new Chumbo sneakers are available now for pre-order. If you would like to get
Тэгээд
yourselves a
энэ
set,
Chumbo,
I'd be very happy to support the cause.
Бүгд
Okay,
байгаа ингээд та бүхэн
just
захиалж
kidding.
болно.
Let
Таалж
us
байна.
experience the
Эхлээд
4 great blessings.
дөрвөн агуу ажлыг
You know, I could say you must
мэдэрч хийх.
fulfill the 4 great blessings.
Та нар дөрвөн агуу
Or
ажлыг
I could say you
хэрэгжүүлэх ёстой гэж хэлж байна.
will absolutely must do the 4
Та нар
great
заавал хийх
blessings.
ёстой дөрвөн агуу ажлыг.
You know, you could also translate that into simply let us experience, fully experience all 4 great blessings. Are you with me?
Та нар надтай хамт байна уу?
If you're wondering, even is this like allowed to say such a thing, the 4th great blessing? You know, I reported to Mother also this point because nobody ever said 4 great blessings. So don't worry. It's just my way of expressing the fact that true parents gave us the ability to not only restore ourselves, but to restore others. And this is a blessing. This is a blessing. And it's a blessing God couldn't give us. So I reported to Mother, this is my conviction before God. It is so. It is true. And even if God tells me it's not true, I will say it is true. So let us experience all 4 great blessings. So I'm going to walk you through this right now, okay? So I invite you to consider, starting with the first, becoming a person of heavenly character. What does that mean? Yes, we can say mind-body unity. We can say a person who is attained a high degree of spiritual health and physical health. Don't forget physical health. A lot of us experience growth in this area through, attending a workshop. I think you can strengthen your mind, right? Do you feel a little stronger than you were 2 days ago? Hopefully. You can read your parents' words. You can pray. You can meditate. You can eat good food. You can exercise. These are all things that we can do. And I'm not saying, suffering religious practices necessarily, but you can still do those things to strengthen your character. But imagine, what would Adam and Eve have done? So I want you actually to ask God in your life. I think if I just tell everybody what to do, it's not necessarily going to work for everyone. I trust Heavenly Parent much more than I trust myself. So, with that, I want to ask you to sit upright and comfortably in your chair. And I want to invite you to close your eyes, relax your shoulders. And the interpreters too, even if you have to interpret, please sit comfortably, close your eyes. Take a good yawn. There you go. Close your eyes and breathe. I want you to ask Heavenly Parent for the wisdom of Heavenly Parent. Feel the grace of Heavenly Parent and true parents embrace you. They love you. They know you. And now, as you breathe deeply and sit comfortably, I want you to ask the question, what will make you feel more divinely inspired, more resonating with God's love? You can think in terms of right now, but I also want you to think in terms of 3 months. You can actually pick any time period. You can set the time period for yourself, but I'm going to just put a universal time and say 3 months. In 3 months, there's a lot that we can do to change our lives. And if I only had 30 minutes more with you, these would be the questions I would leave with you. The first one is, what do you feel? Over the course of the next 3 months, what practice, what behavior, what action step will help you feel more divinely inspired and resonating with God's love? Mind-body unity is not a machine. Mind-body unity is where we feel God's love. It's not about how clever you are. It's not about how much you can do. It's ultimately about how I can feel God's love. So you can reflect, what are the ways that you usually feel closer to God? What is it that you do that helps you feel closer to God? As you start to think of those things, visualize them. See yourself doing them over the next few days, the next few weeks and months. Picture yourself doing the things that bring you closer to God. I'm not talking about relationships. I'm not talking about study. I'm not talking about witnessing. I'm talking about you and God. Your internal relationship with our Heavenly Parent. Some people choose to start adding more walking or running to their day with meditation. Some people realize that they want to offer a prayer in the prayer room, but they actually feel much closer to God out in nature. Some people realize that they're willing to wake up at 5 a.m. to offer a prayer, but they happen to feel closer to God at the end of the day, sitting by a stream or under the stars. Each of us is different. Picture yourself doing those things that you feel God is guiding you to do to deepen your relationship with our Heavenly Parent. Once you thought of those things, visualize it and start to reflect on how it makes you feel. How does it make you feel right now? When you're ready, you can open your eyes and write it down. What it is that you determined to do over the next few days, weeks, say 3 months, to deepen your relationship with Heavenly Parent. Now, what you write down, I'm asking you to determine to do. That's the only thing I ask. Think about the outcome after 3 months, where you want to be in your relationship to God. Every one of us, whether you're 14 or 64. You can also write something down in the chat box if you're willing. Once I heard a testimony from a brother who was always fighting with his wife. He said, maybe on average I'm fighting, 2 times a day, meaning at least in a week, 15 times he's fighting, 60 times in a month.
Тэгээд сард 30 60
He
удаа
can't really make a goal
тэр ингээд
to
зорилго
simply
тавьчихгүй.
not fight with his wife. It's unrealistic.
Нэртэй
He made a goal
хэлэхгүй гэсэн тэр зорилго тавьж чадахгүй байсан.
to go from fighting 2 times a day down to only 1 time a day.
Өдөрт 2 хэлэлдэг байсан бол 1 хэлэлдэг болъё гэсэн тэмцээн.
That was his first step
Энэ бол эхний алхам.
because he could do it. Maybe it sounds like extreme to many of you. Hopefully that's not. But I want to allow you to recognize wherever you are in your life. Moving forward is where God is, not sitting still and not going backwards. God does not just exist there waiting for you at level 10 on top of the mountain. You can experience God in each and every step towards your heavenly character. Are you with me, Ken? So mastering Korean. I don't know how much mastering you can do in 3 months, but if you picked a time period like 3 months, you should measure something that you can achieve and claim as your victory at the end of it. For example, if now you know 2,000 words, then maybe you can go from 2,000 to 2,500 words in 3 months. Something like that. Marina said, I want to pray and talk to Heavenly Parents after coming back home from school. That's beautiful. So then you can consider what will help you do that. Maybe you set a little reminder on your phone. Spending time with nature, Naomi says, offering service and yoga and meditation. So plan it out. There'll be many distractions that happen over the next 3 months. So if you decided what it is that will make you healthy, then determine how it is that you will put it into your schedule. Shinshin wants to just sit under the moon and stars. Beautiful. So you have to, make sure that you set time aside to do that. Ken wants to put his wife before him, giving her more freedom to be working part-time and getting out of the house, following her passion, allowing her to find her passion. That's beautiful. You can have a discussion and plan how to do that. But especially when you look at this point, Ken, this is actually more in the realm of the second blessing. This is more in the realm of our heavenly family activity. So is connecting more with the local second gen. I know that you feel God through connecting with people, but I'm asking you guys first, like empathy also. We have empathy from Adina. Empathy is a big deal. But instead of trying to exercise it in relationship immediately, first find ways in your own relationship to be empathetic to yourself. That's to do your first blessing. To know that God loves you, forgives you, believes in you, no matter what. Those are the things I'm looking for in terms of your heavenly character. The first blessing, brothers and sisters. Also, when you was talking about meeting your mom, it's a big deal to meet your mom and to hug her. You don't want her to feel alone. That's beautiful. But save that for the next question, which is your heavenly family. Please consider. You see how hard it is? We don't even know really how to organize my first and second blessing. It's different. Can I really expect for my wife to feel my support if I'm going to her with an empty heart? If I'm doubting in my own heart that God loves me and then I'm going to my wife to hope that she can make me feel full? It's not going to work. My wife too. No matter how many times I learn how to do the dishes or help her, even though still I'm probably always useless, I will never be able to satisfy my wife's desire if she's feeling something lacking in her heart with God. First, we can't be perfect in the first blessing, but we have to understand that it takes some work in our day. So, how do you feel, brothers and sisters? If you can achieve the things that you've set out to do, how do you think you'll feel after 3 weeks or after 3 months? Will you feel good? Will you do it? Are you committed? Then let's give yourselves a big round of applause. You have just completed the first step of the Chombo Challenge. Yeah, congratulations. That's the first step. Are you ready for the next step, or do you need a big breather break? It's going to be hard, but I won't give up. Beautiful. So when you keep picking things in the realm of the second blessing, you now have already answered the second question. Ken, and when you now need to go back and answer the first question next, okay? But for everybody else that actually did what I said, the next question is, what can you do for others that will make your family life even more enjoyable and more joyful and harmonious in the next 3 months? I already know what Ken's going to do and what Wenyu's going to do because they're a step ahead. Now, this is about the relationship with your parents, your spouse, your children, your siblings, even your friends. So what I want you to do is close your eyes right now. Put your pens down. You smart people up at the front of the class, AAA students, put your pens down, sit comfortably, close your eyes, and start with God. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let your shoulders relax. Let all the stresses and excitements and distractions leave you as you exhale. Breathe in. Exhale slowly, letting all of the dust and all of the negative or disturbing thoughts or distracting thoughts, just let it all go away. Let your body completely relax. Breathe in. And breathe out slowly. Keep breathing deeply as I ask you to meditate on your second blessing realm. This is a big realm. Some of you are married, some of you are parents, grandparents. Some of you have blood siblings. But we are all children. And we are all siblings to our brothers and sisters. And our destiny is to become heavenly spouses, heavenly parents, and grandparents. To experience every realm of the family. Each of us is at a different, completely different stage in our life. But I want you, as you keep your eyes closed and you pray deeply, I want you to pay attention. What are the faces that come to mind? Who comes to mind when you meditate on what it is you want to invest in to make a more joyful, happy family experience? It may be your wife or your husband that comes to mind, or your parents, or just one of your parents, or a brother or sister, or a long-lost brother or sister. I will not tell you who it is. God is guiding you right now if you're just praying on this point. Heavenly Parent, who should I invest in to grow myself and to heal something, to repair something, to build something so that I can contribute at least one more step towards a heavenly family. You will be guided to see the person, and you will also be guided with creative ideas of what to do for that person, what to do with that person, what not to do to that person, what not to do with that person. Let heaven guide you and picture yourself doing it over the next 3 months. Pay attention to how it makes you feel. If you can see yourself doing it, and if you can feel yourself doing it, your emotional body thinks you're already doing it. It will help magnetize that reality into your life. So the more detail you think of, What time of day are you doing it? In what environment are you doing it? What are you wearing? When is it happening? Who is it happening with? All the detail that you can see makes it more real. When you're ready, take your time. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and write it down. But what you write down is your determination to Heavenly Parent and yourself. It doesn't have to be some big mega Hollywood blockbuster result. Just what will you commit to over 3 months to improve your family? When you're ready, you can write it down. Some of you want to write it down in the chat box as well, but keep a record for yourself. You are drawing your next 3-month dream map. Naomi's doing a good job with pen and paper. Thank you. Talking about bonding with my family. So talking and bonding. Yeah. You know, human beings are amazing. Many times we have a lot of upset feelings and thoughts, concepts we throw onto people. But if we ask questions and truly take interest in one another, we can go a long way. Try to understand one another. This is bonding, doing things that are relatable and fun together. When you says, I really want to call to so many old best friends and tell them I miss them so much. Yes, she's still in the second blessing realm. I still didn't hear anything about when you's heavenly character determination. She still has to catch up with that one. You're going to sing songs for your spouse. It's beautiful. So which songs and when? And are you just going to be random? Or are you just going to call him up and leave a message? Or are you going to set an appointment? Think about how he would like to receive your song. Or you're going to record videos and send them. Chia Feng is going to set an appointment. I am waiting. What is that? An appointment with the government office? Please explain. Okay. Blessed Kangaroos is going to take each family member out at least once. At least once what? In their lifetime or in the next 3 months? And you're going to choose a different environment to spark new conversation. I love it. So you're thinking about the environment. You're thinking about all the elements that go to create an experience. So Feng Jun is the spouse. Okay, that's why you're going to make the appointment. Okay, got it. Myo and Masuaku, you're going to build a stronger communication with my parents. Okay, how? How are you going to do that? What specifically will you do? And when will you do it? And how? Are you just going to text them more often? Send them better line stickers? Or are you going to like set an appointment to sit down and, you know, eat with them, ask them questions? Please really go into detail so you get excited about how you're going to do it. Otherwise, we might be distracted. Right? Sutin's going to help his wife to clean our room. Sutin, do you not usually help your wife to clean your room? John Olive is going to chat with his brother more often. He's far away from us and he needs a lot of sisterly love. Yes, beautiful. I'm telling you, we think people need so many things. Yes, maybe they need the blessing. Maybe they need a lecture. Maybe they need this, that, and the other. But it doesn't really mean that much unless we're loving them, unless we're caring about them. So how do you feel loved? How do you feel cared for? How do you feel remembered? Amon is going to deepen his relationship with his spouse, make a better effort to listen and understand her heart. And please, Amon, you don't even have to think of it like a condition or like a hard job. Actually, If you were a writer, a painter, a musician, or a movie maker, when you ask people questions, you would be so interested in the way their mind and emotions and thoughts work because it informs you, it educates you, it makes you a bigger person, right? So it's actually fun to get to know one another. So I think you all have great things on your agenda. We only have a few minutes left, so we're going to continue. But I want to congratulate everyone on this mini Chombo challenge. You have passed the second step of the Chombo challenge. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, give each other a hug, but stay 6 feet apart. Good job, everybody. Good job. Okay. All right. So what do you imagine will be my next question? My next question is pretty simple. You're going to want to meditate now. Close your eyes and consider what will help you grow and strengthen your foundation or your environment. This is to do with heavenly stewardship. So what is heavenly stewardship? We never get to really talk about this. We think we're gonna start that one after we become a perfect family. No! It includes the area of study, by the way, young children. Don't think of your study as just something you got to do because the government says so or because your parents say so. Actually, this is something that God wanted us to do, probably in a very different way, granted. But it has to do with our minds and hearts growing, becoming more aware of the world around us. It has to do with the area of our education, our finances, our household. So Sutin, if you help your wife to clean the room, you're basically doing both heavenly family and heavenly stewardship in one. That's called Chombo hacking, by the way. If you want to sign up for the Chombo hacking seminar, please see my website and sign up for more details. It includes your farm if you're a farmer. It includes your business if you're a businessman or woman. It includes your mission if you're working for the church in some area. I don't know how we roll in AP2. I believe we roll the same way because I had a lot of conversations with your President Hodi. But the way we roll in Asia Pacific 1 is I like to include the realm of the third blessing in our Chombo. I like to include the realm of 1, 2, and 3 in our Chombo. That means I want to include the realm of becoming smarter, richer, healthier, happier. Yes. If you want to, study all about our church and become a theologian of our church and then go make an amazing business, I want to bless you. Please become the best businessman in your village, your town, your city. Please become the best artist, the best engineer, the best musician, the best medical expert, educator, governor. Think about it. We want to unite North and South Korea. We need a lot of clever people to rebuild a nation that doesn't even have any lights. We are Chonilguk citizens. We are Chonilguk builders, building Chonilguk in our lifetime. This is incredible. A lot of second generation I've seen leave the church because leaders only give them 2 positions. 2 positions available. You can either be a church leader or you can be a church member. But, you want to be an engineer or a musician or an artist? I don't know what to do with that. No, we have to widen our offering table. The offering table of God is a lot bigger than just being a church leader or a church member. Are you with me, BCs? You have that heart. You want to be a pop star? You want to be, what is it you want to be? You have some dream. You got to believe in it. But you got to do it for the right reasons, for Heavenly Parent and true parents. If you're with me, say, Aju. I know you want to do it for that reason. Going to school is boring unless you know why you want to do it. But if why you want to do it is only to make money, only to make my happy family for myself, you will not be happy forever. You have to connect your purpose to the biggest reason of all, which is to make our Heavenly Parent happy, to make our true parents happy. And if you do become wealthy and rich, then please remember you're going to be using that foundation and giving it to God. Are you with me? If you're with me, say Aju. So right now, sit up, relax your body, breathe deep, ask Heavenly Parent, what is it that I can do to advance my realm of heavenly stewardship in the next 3 months? What is God calling you to do? to study harder, to work on better, to focus more time on, to set a time aside for, to save more money for, to invest more money for. Who are you going to ask for help? Think about what it is that heaven is guiding you to do. You're allowed to do anything within the realm of Heavenly Parent. You are a free citizen of Chonelgo. Close your eyes and see it, Ken. See it happening over the next 3 months. Feel the excitement. See yourself overcoming the challenges that you know will come up trying to stop you. If you're really dedicating time every day to deepen your resonance with God, if you're dedicating time every day to improve the relationship with your family, then nothing can stop you to be successful in this area. It will take time, but the process is fun if we know why we are doing it. If we set our goals based on a deeper reasoning and a deeper purpose, nothing will stop you. Especially our blessed children, you are truly blessed. Believe. In your own time, when you're ready, when you really feel it, you can open your eyes and write it down. What it is you determined to do over the next 3 months. Take your time. For those of you that want to use the chat box, you can also use the chat box. Finish my studies and graduate in high school. So if you want to do that, please think about why. Why do you want to graduate high school? Whatever it is that you've chosen for yourself, make sure that you have a sense of why. And if you can't think about, if you're concerned about your future, you're stressing about what should I do, I don't know what to do, then you're asking the wrong question. It's better to start with why I want to do anything at all. Why? Do you care about anything at all? You want to be happy. You want the world to be a happier place. You want to be able to be a plus in people's lives. One of the questions I asked my children on top of the mountain 4 days ago was like this. Some of you might know the YouTuber Beast. He's a young guy, and he has an incurable disease, and he's a multi-millionaire because of his YouTube channel, gaming, right? But he will die someday. He doesn't know when because he has an incurable liver disease. All he can do is treat the symptoms. But he's this young guy making millions and millions of dollars. What is he doing with the money? He's just giving it away. He's giving his money away to different things that he feels inspired to give it to. Why? Because he doesn't know whether he's going to live 50 years or 5 years or 5 months. So when he thinks about that, he's thinking, my God, what can I do if I'm going to die? At least whatever I have, I want to give away because I can't take it with me. But what he wants to do is make a positive impact in the world. Is it because he knows God and true parents the way you know God and true parents? No. But he's tapping into the same spirit that God has put in all of us. So I asked my children, well, if you only had 3 months to live, what would you do? They really struggled to answer that question. But both of them said, well, I want to do something for the world. In their own small way. So why should we wait for imminent death to live that life that we know we should live? Connect to your deeper purpose and confidently lay your course over the next 3 months, what you will do. Okay? I'm seeing somebody wants to create, Shinshin wants to create a musical play, monetize our YouTube channel, and showcase blessed children talents to the world. I love that. I want to support you. Naomi wants to pour her sincere devotion into doing research and writing her thesis, master's thesis, to contribute to the field of education, learn and train in school journalism, and revive the school publication of the Sunlight International Academy as its advisor. That's amazing. And if you declare it, some people will come to oppose you. Ignore them. Most people that come to oppose you in what you do is because they may be jealous in some way, so forgive them. But there may be those who can help you, or who are 3 steps ahead of you, who you can ask for help or collaborate with. So when you express your desire, look for the people that will support you and work with them. Don't listen to the people who put it down. Many times we struggle with our dreams like that, right? Right, Mr. Ice? All right, BC Got Talent, go! Go, go, go. All of these things are beautiful. So, write it down, imagine it, see it, put it, make a picture of it. Google a YouTube picture and put it on your wall. Trust that if you ask God to guide you, then it is something you should be doing. It is your mission. Do you understand? You don't have to go to some course on spirituality to understand what God wants you to do. You already know. Trust it, especially our young people. And to our elders, please don't give up. Please don't think whatever it is you wish you could do, you don't have time. No. There was once a 70-year-old American man. When he turned 70-year-old, he finally admitted what his lifelong dream was. His lifelong dream was to move to Korea, to learn Korean, to move to Korea and build orphanages for young Korean kids. But he didn't even speak Korean, and he was 70 years old. Well, he moved to Korea and he studied Korean, and within 20 years, he built up orphanages all over the country. By the time he was 90. Isn't that amazing? And he too didn't have the principle. He didn't have the blessing. He didn't have what you have. He didn't have a worldwide international community of people committed to helping you. Amazing. So you can do it. All right. If you have written something down and if you've committed to it over the course of the next 3 months, then you have graduated the 3rd step of the Chombo Challenge. Give yourselves a round of applause. And in the meantime, please promote Shinshin's channel. They're trying to monetize, so let us help them out. I'll click on that in a moment. So with just a few minutes left, what do you think I'm going to ask you? It's Chombo, guys. All of this is Chombo. Remember, doing all of these things is Chombo. Doing all of these things is your attendance. It is how you will be happy, saved, restored, filial. But especially as young people, what can you do to expand Heavenly Parents Foundation of Love? I've heard all kinds of things. You know, some BCs are actually working and making money and helping their parents liberate their ancestors. Isn't that beautiful? So maybe you can start by asking your parents, hey, how are we doing? Did we liberate everyone yet? Or do you need some help? Or maybe you're helping, like I said before, maybe you're helping your parents organize their tribe into a database. Or maybe you're just giving your parents a massage and encouragement and saying, look, you can do it. Or maybe you're witnessing to your own friends and bringing them to the home and asking your parents to teach them. I don't want to put too many ideas in your mind. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and ask God, what can I do? The most important thing for every single blessed child to do is to prepare for the blessing. To know that the first and biggest offering you give your lineage and you give your tribe and you give true parents and you give God is your blessing. It's going to be your eternal gift. But you don't have to wait till you're blessed to witness, right? And you don't have to wait till you're blessed to become a proud citizen of Chonilguk. And to speak it like it is. And to help one another do so. So close your eyes just for a few seconds, breathe deep and ask God, what can I do to help my family advance one more step towards Chombo, towards a more heavenly Chombo environment in the next 3 months? Picture it, see yourself doing it, feel what it feels like, and when you're ready, open your eyes and write down at least one thing that you will determine. Take a minute. Okay, when you're ready, you can write it down. Some of you can use the chat box. For some of you, it might be just about having a conversation. Finding out if your parents even know what it is or want to do it. Or if you're already parents, speak with your children. I remember before I started doing any of this, I just tried to meet with my wife and meet with my children and ask them questions. What do you think? What do you want to do? How do we do it? Like Father said, our tribes will emerge out and from within our blessed families. It's not just the mom's job to go out and, witness to 400 people and then chalk it off on the... No, it should be something that every part of the family can touch and feel like we're contributing together. This is only because we still live in a world that is fallen, even though we're building Chonilguk from within. This is what true parents want to see us to do. And I want to tell you, even the smallest thing as a blessed child, if you bow before your parents and offer even the smallest support, I'm telling you, you'll give them so much joy. So, if you have written down even one thing that you will achieve in the realm of Chombo, the fourth great blessing over the next 3 months, then you have also graduated the fourth and final mini step in the mini Chombo challenge. Give yourselves a round of applause. You have now come to the end of Damien Dunkley's The Way of Chombo Leaders Master Class. I hope you could get something from it. I hope you can at least get one thing from it. But instead of just talking theory and talking and reading true parents' words and then thinking it's all going to just somehow manifest, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be the hard way. If you really think about each of those questions, if you really reflect on how each of those meditations made you feel, they probably made you feel Good. Sometimes people feel like, oh, I'm tired, too many things to do. Some people react that way, but so far I've only met one person that reacted that way. You have to understand that God is there with you, and joy will be there with you on the journey. But we have to be professional about it, right, Ken? We can't just think, somehow I can struggle through life and maybe it will be okay with a bit of prayer and a bit of a workshop here and there. No, we need to plan a few things out. And it should be things that inspire us, because we're not living in the wilderness course. You are blessed. The work that God wants you to do will be work that brings joy to you. So congratulations, brothers and sisters. You are living in the era of attendance with heavenly parents. It is time to sing, to dance, to enjoy our mission together, because it should make everybody happy. Aju. That is the end. If you have any questions, let me know.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. We can again to our dearest. Wow. And then we are professionals of trombone already. Yay! Yes, thank you so much. Very, very interesting class. Yeah. Right, Ken?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really got you thinking about substantially what you can do within the next 3 months. And I think connecting those thoughts, putting it down, and then connecting it with your feelings, emotions, and how you feel is, something powerful to assist you in making sure that you actually take action. So thank you again, and we will go straight into the next session, which is the Q&A. And since we have all three of us up here already, yeah, we're going to go right into it and pass along some of the questions that our participants have had for you. So the first question present is, since we have transitioned to a new era of attendance, will we still be required to retain traditions from our church's movement's history, or would you say that these traditions can evolve with new?
I think we're seeing an evolution of that with Mother right now. One of the first things she said after Father passed, it wasn't the fact that Father passed, but it was the fact that she declared Foundation Day. She wanted to start to simplify our holy days, for example. We officially transferred the heavenly calendar. Right now, you can see True Mother, she has a Christmas tree. She celebrates Christmas, and the Christmas tree stays up pretty much through till April, the last 3 times I've been to Korea. And right now we can see Mother is kind of combining God's Day, True Parents' birthday, and True Parents' Holy Wedding Anniversary, all kind of into one, centering on True Parents' Holy Wedding Anniversary, basically. And this is an Foundation Day. So, I can see a lot of things that Mother is doing to simplify, even in terms of our education, consolidating Father's words, putting into context what Father was saying to who and when. And I have to tell you, I am literally the last person I know that would be a sort of religious person, somebody looking for answers by practicing, I went to Catholic churches when I was a kid, and I think the course of religion has done a lot of things if you study history. These practices that we had to accomplish through the wilderness course helped us to become better people, absolutely, and helped us to access more blessing. So we shouldn't look down on it. We should really be grateful for it. And in fact, a lot of those practices can still be applied for individual strengthening. However, I see an evolution occurring where our culture, when I'm witnessing to somebody, I'm not thinking, I want you, how do I get them to join my church so that somebody else can kind of educate them and somebody else can then bless them and then somebody else can then, take care of them. I'm thinking more of, would you like to join my family? Or can we join God's family together? So stop thinking, even though we still have an organization, Father actually said that Family Federation, we wouldn't have needed it if we had already accomplished home church properly. Meaning if we had already accomplished tribal messiahship before most of you were born, you would never have even heard the word Family Federation. But Family Federation right now is our central and internal organization within this Heavenly Parent Holy Community banner that does the work of what? What's its job? Its job is to help our leaders and couples become heavenly Chombo families, where from within your own family and within your own community, that is the realm of attendance and heavenly lifestyle. Will we have holidays and calendars and things that we all adhere to? I believe so. Will we have prayer halls and temples? Yes. But we're transitioning out of it being a place where we're just, crying and offering repentance for a miserable past, and we're just bringing out joy and celebrating together. I see us building a new culture of Cheongyeonguk that we've never seen before. It's hard to understand what it will look like, but I believe it will be one filled with joy. So let us figure that out together and really hold on to True Mother, how she's guiding us to make that transition.
Thank you. I really see that as a yes and a no answer to that question. So yeah, I do believe that there will definitely be changes and there have been new, as you mentioned, consolidations of the holidays, and there will be things that I'm sure will remain, like for example, reading God's words, attending to parents, attending our parents. These are traditions, you could say, from our church. They're never going to change. So definitely there will always be changes, but at the same time, I do think they will also remain. There will be parts that will remain. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, and the next question. Actually, today we have so many questions. Yes, the question. Yes, the question too is, isn't Chombo also part of the second blessing? Since Chombo is building or restoring your tithe, right? And the tithe is an extension of the family. Again, very long. Isn't Chombo also part of the second blessing? Since Chombo is building on restoring your tithe, right? And the tithe is an extension of the family. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great question. Some people say, isn't it an extension of your family and therefore extension of second blessing? Or isn't it an extension of even your third blessing in terms of, environment and expanding? I think it's an extension of all three blessings. And it is its own independent blessing. Why? Because, and sometimes this is hard for younger people to sort of really want to accept or believe, but restoration is still needed. If you simply compare Adam's three blessings and now, the big difference is we have an entire lineage of fallen humanity still connected to that mistake. So it's not just a matter, it's not like it would have been for Adam and Eve. The second blessing for Adam and Eve would have been like that, making children, it would have become a village, a people, and so on. But Chombo is different in that part of that expansion includes a reversal of blood lineage. You understand me? A reversal of blood lineage that is extended to them because of the blessing. And we are given the authority and power to be able to bless those people. This is incredible. That's the uniqueness of Chombo. That's the uniqueness of the fourth blessing. And that's why I give it its own distinctive emphasis.
Yes, thank you so
much. And by the way, like I said, God could not give you that authority. God could not give you the blessing. God could not give you the authority to bless others. God could not even give you the authority to bless your ancestors. Even within the principle, it's very strict. It's because of true parents who came as a mediator. If we don't need the blessing to reverse our fallen lineage, then we don't need true parents. So if we misunderstand or look too much through a humanistic lens, which we really tend to do more and more in the modern era, we can misunderstand the unique value and purpose and importance of Chombo. Some of you might wonder why your parents, so crazy about blessing people. Well, you can stay kind of stubborn about it if you wish, but I promise you, when you go to the spiritual world, you will be drenched in your own tears of gratitude and repentance. What our dedicated first generation have done for the lives of so many who would otherwise be in torturous situations. And you can't see it immediately. But I promise you, if you experience it, you will see it immediately. If you wait until you go to the spirit world, you will also see it. But Chombo is very much its own significant area that needs its own attention and respect. And it's only because we have the Messiah, our true parents, that we can do it. So we must emphasize it. Thank you.
Okay, and the next question is how can we balance our studies, work, and public work? So yeah, I think this is a question that seems to be recurring. I think a lot of VCs are really wanting to do all of these things. They're just struggling as to how can I do all of this together?
Okay, first a quick answer, short answer is, please adjust your thinking. Why are you studying? And why are you working? If the purpose behind your studies and your work has nothing to do with a higher meaning or purpose, then it's going to be hard to balance your work mission life. But if your work, whatever it is, and your studies are connected to a higher purpose, then in my view, you are doing public work. Now, if you also mean, how I can help staff the youth workshop, or how I can help, the pastor on Sunday, or, make another music video for the church on Sunday, or whatever, then yeah, you have external matters to adjust in terms of your schedule. But I think one of our biggest problems is we've divided all these things, and we think we start with it's a false question, because we start with the assumption that, if I'm spending time with my family, it's my personal time. And oh my gosh, sorry, my central figure, I need some time. I told my staff in America years ago, never ask me for personal time again, because you need to spend time with your family. If you need to spend time with your family, do it with all of your heart and take all the time you need. And I'm going to chalk it off as your heavenly tribal messiahship, research and study and practice. This is the reality. If you're spending hours at night studying because there's an exam coming up, but you feel guilty in your heart because the church leader is asking you to do this, that, and the other, the only reason you may feel guilty is because you haven't yet connected the purpose of your study to a higher meaning that your church pastor will be proud of, that your parents will be proud of. You understand? So I think it's a false start. We should now change our culture. The people who we call home members, it's much harder to be a home member struggling to figure out how to go to work every day, how to love my wife and my children every day, and how to still keep my faith every day, and how to get my children to do 5 minutes of hunduke once a week. That's much harder than living as a single person full-time in the center with everybody else doing the same thing as me. So, being a young person, worried about my future and my studies and what am I going to do and where am I going to go, that's a lot harder than just going to church and doing whatever your pastor tells you to do. So, please find the time to support your community publicly. But understand, if you're in my church and you choose to be an engineer full-time or you choose to be a business person full-time, I want you to do it full-time and I want you to be the best in the city. But I also might ask you to participate as a part of our think tank committee, How to Save Asia Pacific One, how to make more money for the sake of the mission in China or the mission in India and so on. Do you understand me? So you're part of the team. It's not separate. Does that answer your question? If you want to ask about how I can help you just divide your time properly, it's not actually time that you're dividing, it's energy. Time is relative. Energy is finite. And you'll have more energy if you know why you're doing the things that you're doing. That's again, you have to connect to your why. If you have a strong driving purpose, you'll have more time because you'll have more energy. And as far as how to divide your energy, buy a book on it.
Aju.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much. And then maybe the last question. Yes, I'm really thankful who is asked this question because I think so many people, our brother and sister, in this situation also. So question 4 is, I am about to graduate university. I really want to work in an outside company, but there is too much pressure of doing mission and struggle about this. What do you think is the best thing I should do?
Well, I've just answered that question. But I'll add a little bit more because it's very specific. If you are being specifically asked to do a mission by your, local leader or what have you, then you should first think of, how can I help this person? You have to think they have a public burden. So your first thought should be not whether or not you do it or how to do it or how do I do this? Do I do left or right? But first connect to the heart of what they need and why. And then God will be able to guide you better. You may even find that there are other ways, other solutions, other people that people you can build a team that can everybody help a little bit part-time, or somebody else that happens to really want to and ready to do a full-time mission for the church. One of the challenges is we're not donating enough to the church to be able to support enough people to do the work full time that we need to do for the mission. So in some sense, we're still having to ask too much volunteerism. But I think you should speak to your parents, you should speak to your spouse if you're blessed, and you should speak to your pastor or central figure, but start with the mindset that how can I feel like a filial heart to want to help them in the public realm? In reality, if you do go get a job outside, within 3 years, you're probably going to be 10 years more qualified to do public mission than you were if you just go straight from school to some full-time thing. But the reality in every nation and every situation is different. If I give you a flat answer for this question, I could cause problems. In some countries, it's just like one family, and the pastor is asking his son to do one thing, daughter to another, and son to do another. And I tell you, if you really live for the sake of the public, you'll find that heaven blesses you and brings you forward on an incredible journey. It is an incredible journey to be so-called a public figure. But fundamentally, I believe we need to do a better job of blessing those who do go to work outside and keeping them in the loop, keeping them involved. And, if you do go to work outside, make sure that you commit to doing things for your spiritual life and your family, heavenly family life that will keep you in that loop. Don't just expect it to happen. If you just go off and you try to do good in your job, and people are asking you to go out drinking and to go out eating late and go out karaoke late because everybody's stressed, and then you feel you have to do it because, I'm not going to advance in my career if I say no to these things. Believe me, trust God. Apply the principle. Always unite with your central figure at work, but don't unite with Satan working behind them if they're asking you to do things against your faith. It's a much harder thing to do than live in a center and be full-time. I think we need to do a better job as leaders of really setting our young professionals on a course as if it is a public mission. But at the same time, young people, you should give financially to your community. You must give. For the first 20 years of most BC's life, I know how it is. It's your parents slipping you $5 or $1 to go to Sunday school, and then you never really develop the practice. You don't even trust necessarily that the money's being used for anything, particularly useful. So for many people, they see our parents are struggling. They see our church doesn't even know how to manage money properly. Oh, I'm going to go learn I'm going to follow my passion. I'm going to be a great marketer and I'm going to make a lot of money, but it'll be a long time before I give any of that to the church. Because look, my parents need it first. They're struggling and the church doesn't know how to use it properly. This is in the heart of many people. So as leaders, we need to do a better job of showing what we're doing, showing what we need, blessing the mission, blessing the home members as if they are full-time members, blessing the full-time workers as if they are on a public mission, but also you as young people need to give. This is a part of your first blessing realm also. You become successful in the third realm, but you'll always have a deeper relationship with God if you surrender what it is you think you know so good, what it is you know so well. Give. And then our teams will be able to hire more people. They'll be able to hire you when you do quit the professional work after 5 years, 3 years, or 10 years, and you'll be able to come back to our church and kick ass out there in the real world and show how amazing true parents are, how amazing we are, how amazing you and your family is, and more young people will just be proud to be a part of this community.
Thank you.
Do the interpreters keep up with all of that?
We have our interpreters rapping in the background. I'm sure they'll be able to keep up.
So you have more questions, please send them to me. I'm very interested to know what's in the minds of our blessed family members. But I hope you could catch something. I didn't give a lot of personal stories and testimonies this time, but there's funny stories to tell always. I think we had a really wonderful testimony from Rosia from the States, Dr. Kittle's daughter. I think it's really excellent how he yielded an entire lecture portion to his daughter to actually speak to the very things as opposed to lecture on them. And so I would like to announce Hannah Dunkley, Jonathan Dunkley, if I'm invited back next year, you can prepare your testimony. Don't worry. I really want to thank again our leaders and organizers and our participants. I love you, all of our members in Asia Pacific 1, Asia Pacific 2. I don't get to see you so much, but I love you. And it's been an honor to be a part of this. Have a great rest of the workshop. And you know what to do. No matter how confused you may be, you know what to do for the next 3 months. Okay. Send me those questions, though, okay?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, thank you again so much, President Dunkley. It was our honor really to be able to have you and to be able to hear from you. Like you mentioned, we don't get to see you all that often either. And so when we do have this opportunity like this, hopefully it's going to be more than just once a year, but when you do have these kind of opportunities, we really gain so much out of them, and we're really so glad and grateful that you have given us your time and your love through your lectures and through your talks, through the Q&A session. So thank you again, and everyone, please give him another big round of applause.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh my God.
Okay, brothers and sisters, so towards the end of our second